Welcome to episode 3 of 2 Drink Minimum, Urban South Beer. I am your host, Gabriel Schaefer from Mortal Machine Gallery.
My name is Chris Trew from the Open Mic from Hell and Hell Yes Creative. We are so excited. It's been raining all day outside, Gabe, but it's about to be raining inside the studio. We got 2 amazing guests who just met each other for the very first time.
Yes. Raining, R-E-I-G-N. Yes. Yes, they do rain. It's true. Yep. And we have Rachael Bridge, who's in our current 3-person show at Mortal Machine called Mood Lighting. And so she's showing alongside Alex Garant and Ruby Roth as well. Yeah, really incredible show, and we're super happy to have her in town. Yeah,
and speaking of incredible shows, we have Catie Santos, a local comedian and show producer who is a big part of Open Mic from Hell, but is also does your own thing all over the city. And did I hear correctly? You are approaching your 1-year anniversary of producing shows in the city?
Yes, like 3 days from now.
Incredible. Awesome. So we're going to get into all that about getting artwork up at Mortal Machine, about doing shows here in New Orleans. But it all starts, Gabe, with us opening up these drinks.
Yeah, today we're going to do, I figured with Rachael being from out of town, we wanted to maybe have a bit of a local angle here, because that's obviously one of the parts of the show that we want to highlight is different brands, different spaces, different things about the city that we appreciate. So we're going to be drinking Urban South beer today. Yeah, so we've got 2 different kinds here. Looks like I've got a Houdat, and what y'all got there?
And I've got the Po' Boy Amber, which is a beautiful can. And, I'm not really a big beer drinker, but I base all of my beer thoughts off of the can. I kind of like art. I don't know if I'm doing this right. The can is art to me. It's
it is. No, you're right.
The aluminum is the frame. The beer is the paint. I'm not doing this right, but you guys,
no, that's
you guys
perfect.
know where my heart is.
Well, you can also channel Stone Cold. I think that helps too in drinking beer. Whenever I have to drink beer, and I don't, I'm not a big beer guy either. But so that's another fun part about this show, I suppose. But I definitely have drank plenty of beer.
Well, one of the reasons why we're doing beer today is, one, because we have an out-of-towner right here, but also Catie is a big craft beer person.
Oh shit, that's right. I remember you. That's why we made this.
That's right.
Sorry, I smoke a lot of weed.
Actually, when me too. But I used to drink a lot of beer made with hops, which is basically the same thing. And when I graduated LSU like a decade ago, my graduation cap, I put to the pursuit of hoppiness and put beer hops on it. So my original dream in life was to work in
Was to be drunk.
Yes, and I've succeeded. Just not the way I envisioned then.
Fair enough. Rachael, what's your perspective on beer? Is this a go-to for you? You stay away?
I love craft beers, yes.
Hell yeah.
The darker the better. Oh. I love craft beers. The darker the better, and I love IPAs also.
Okay.
Okay, well let's crack these real quick.
Well, we unintentionally have a double meaning for this episode. Rachael is also into it.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Thank you for being a part of episode 3 of this new project. I still don't know why people put the drinks on the table before they do this part, but I'm not asking any questions.
It's a matter of respect.
It's a sign of respect.
I heard it has to do with poison. Someone potentially knocking poison to the base of a glass or something like that.
Not Bret Michaels' Poison. Bret Michaels' Rock of Love,
man.
the best reality dating show of all time. You heard it here.
Yeah, fuck Love Island, right? Rock of Love is the original.
Yeah. Love Island can suck it. Rock of Love is where it's at.
Ooh, okay. This is pretty good.
I haven't seen either, but I've been told I should apply for Love Island recently by a lot of people, which is annoying that I have that reputation.
So wait, what goes into having that reputation, Catie? What is it about you that makes people say you should be on Love Island?
I was on a very small reality dating show a few years back that took place in New Orleans that was called My Amazing Cheap Date.
Whoa.
It was a competitive blind dating show.
Wow.
And our goal was to go on a date in New Orleans and stay under a $50 budget. And I, unfortunately, we blew our budget on mimosas immediately. So they had
So does that mean you lost the show?
Immediately,
Wow.
yes. Yes.
How did you spend $50 on mimosas? I feel like I see chalkboards all over this town that's have a million mimosas for $12.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but sometimes reality TV can be highly produced, and they'll tell you where to go. So they sent us to some fancy country club, which is never where I would take anyone in a million years.
Country club, not the country club?
Not the country club, but some...
What
fancy,
country clubs
I can't
exist in New
remember.
Orleans? I'm fascinated now. I didn't know
like
there was such a thing.
I got
the
hired.
New Orleans Country Club.
I got
perhaps?
hired to go and teach a short comedy class at a real deal, like old school country club just outside the city, where everyone said had really bad ideas about how the world should work.
Yeah, shocker.
Rachel, if you were going to be on a reality show, what would it be? Whether it's a dating show or like a survival show or a makeover show, what would it be?
I guess Jersey Shore because I
Hell
live
yeah.
near it.
Let's go.
Hell
Let's
yeah.
go. Bringing
Best
it back.
answer.
I like the trashiness.
Yeah, it just does Jersey Shore does it deserve the reputation it has now because of the show?
Probably. Probably.
So it was always like that.
I think so. I'm not that privy to it, but I've seen it here and there, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like I could drive with it a little bit.
Jersey Shore is like
Groundbreaker.
yeah, it's like I can't
Honestly.
but I cannot put my finger on why exactly. It was like running back the whole premise of Real World, but in a sexier,
Really unhinged
quote,
way. Yeah.
sexier location, and it was really they were really leaning into the.
I like that you
geographical-
called Jersey Shore a sexier location.
Now I did air quotes. You weren't looking, but the audience can
not.
vouch for me. Steve, the producer, can vouch for me. I did air quotes on that.
I missed that, so it was a fun ride for a moment in my
Yeah,
brain with
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Wait, so Jersey Shore, if it's not sexy, what is it, Rachel?
Gross.
I
Kind
really
of the same
polluted.
thing.
Polluted?
Very polluted.
Okay. Shout out. Shout
yeah,
out.
yeah. Although there's something, I mean, come on. Sometimes garbage is sexy. We know that in New Orleans. Otherwise, we wouldn't be who we are.
That's kind of my train of thought here.
Okay, so you would be on Jersey Shore. Katie, you want to be on Love Island,
No,
or your friends want
people-
you to be on
yes,
Love Island?
I would be on Big Brother if
You
I
would
could.
be on Big Brother.
Yes, I
So it's
would.
Love Island minus the fucking.
Yeah. This is basically
yeah.
what I want.
Okay,
Game
cool.
of manipulation, no strings attached. rock
Big
on.
house, dumb challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Gabe, how about you?
What's the one with the celebrities and they're all like rehabbing in the house together?
It's called Celebrity Rehab. One of those magical shows where the name is exactly what it is.
That one, man. Yeah, that
Kinda like
sounds
this
fun.
one.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I want to be in there with like Andrew Dice Clay and, man, who else would be great in that? Flavor Flav. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Celebrity Rehab. I want to be in a mix with that. Like, but I'm trying to think. I really want. What was her name? I keep thinking about her, but I don't think she's alive anymore. Tammy Faye Baker. God, if I could be on a Celebrity Rehab episode with like, yeah, Tammy Faye Baker being in there as well.
Okay, wait, I know the name, but I need to know more about this person.
Tammy Faye Baker.
Yeah.
Oh, well, when you go back to like the early eras of telemarketing and not telemarketing, but televangelism, in the 80s, you had PTL and you had Jim Baker and his wife, Tammy Faye Baker. And she just had the most incredible eye makeup scenario going on, number one, that she was really well known for. I would say that like Righteous Gemstones has a lot of like influences that they draw from because these guys were growing up in like the heyday of televangelism where you had like Jimmy Swaggart and just total maniac evangelists. And there ended up being a huge not political, but sex scandal, of course, ends up happening that totally just imploded this televangelism like empire. They had their own theme park down in like South Carolina, North Carolina with like one of the biggest like water slides in the world and like everything was produced there. And
Wait, it was a religious themed water park?
yes, it was called
Holy Water?
I think it was called Heritage. It was either called Heritageville or Heritage Land USA.
Well, listen, if anyone else is going to do this and you're not going to call it Holy Water, you're making a huge mistake.
Heritage
You wanna-
USA? Yeah, it was Heritage USA. My dad was like obsessed with televangelism, not just because he didn't believe in the religion. He just thought that like he said it was a great hustle that they had going on, and thought it was entertaining, like the way you and I love pro wrestling. My dad loved televangelism for a little while, and so one time we were driving to South Carolina, and we actually stopped at and stayed at Heritage USA after the scandal. It's like a ghost town. It really was very sad. Yeah.
Okay, well, would y'all go to my theme park, my Holy Water theme park? Because the show I want to be on is actually Shark Tank, and I'm going to go on Shark Tank to pitch my idea for Holy Water, a religious themed.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Oh man,
Sounds fun.
Sounds like a genius tax decision.
You're baptized every time.
Yeah. A year-long pass is $666.
Amazing.
You could ride the you could ride the holy wafer. Like it's like you sit on a giant wafer and you ride down a slide. What y'all think about that?
I like
The
that.
lifeguards are dressed like nuns, basically.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, the hot ones are. Yeah. Baptism. We do live baptisms.
That's exactly. That's what I'm
You know,
saying. You
we
got
just
the
like-
whole baptism.
Yeah,
Like
we
it.
just like
Amazing.
dunk you in a wave pool.
Yes.
What about a ride that turns from like wine into water?
Ooh.
Or water into wine, whichever it is?
Both. We'll do both.
Yeah.
We'll do both.
Yeah, it could be like a twin
We'll do both.
ride.
We'll do both.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Rachel, you're in.
Yeah, definitely.
Can you do some artwork? Some like. Okay, great.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool.
I drank holy water once because I thought it would give me superpowers.
Did it? Did it work?
No, I wish it did.
Wait, take us back, Rachel. You were drinking, like, was this a preconceived, or were you like, if I do this, this will happen? Like, was it?
Yeah, I was a kid in Catholic school, so yeah, I just thought I'd give it a try, and it didn't work.
Was it a sip?
Are you
a
sure
gulp?
you're a really good painter?
Huh?
Are you sure you're a really good painter?
Ooh.
I don't know.
What a crazy point there. He works in mysterious ways, right?
Ooh. So wait, was it a sip or a gulp?
Yeah, it was like a.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now you're here, and you're in New Orleans right now because you have a show opening at Gabe's Mortal Machine just across the
Yep.
street. We're right on top of it right now.
Yeah, just open Friday.
Gabe, and well, both of you actually, I'm just curious, what is this process like to get a show like this up? Because you're from out of town, you came here to do this, you're still in town hanging out with us here. What's this whole process? Because I feel like a lot of people watching or listening are also curious. Like, how does it go from idea to where we are now with your work in your gallery?
First line is we don't accept submissions. So let me get that out there because I deal with that question a lot, and it's something that I'm used to answering a few hundred times a week. But ultimately, I watch a number of artists all the time, and we're lucky enough to work with a lot of folks, number one. So there are people that we already know that I've been working with for chunky years that are almost like homies, and so we're always trying to figure out how to keep them in the regular rotation, to keep showing them, and then also to keep selling artwork and finding collectors for their work. And then I have other artists every year that I'm trying to kind of like check out and see what it'll be like in the venue. And there's varying degrees of interest that go into that. Some of them I'll place in a group show, just kind of feel out a little bit something that they're doing. Others I'll watch for a while, and I'll sort of like, that's a good fit for us. That's a good fit for us. But some people I have to watch a little longer than others. But Rachel, I think I've been watching Rachel for like 3 or 4 years now or something like that. And just the nature of her paintings, which I'm sure we'll probably splice some photos of her work into this episode, I would imagine. And if not, you can go to Mortal Machine as well, to our website, to see the full collection. But she's just such an incredible. I guess you would use the term realism, but the way that she does it is has a real heavy air of like cinematography and mystery. And she's so smart in the way that she works with like light sourcing. So the mood of her pieces, I'm pretty sure that if you either live here or you're somebody that's a fan of New Orleans, when you see it, it'll register with you why right away. But it's also her skill level too. And I feel like when I'm looking at Rachel's paintings that I'm catching a glimpse into some film that I haven't seen but I want to see. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, that was so sweet. That's one hell of a wreck.
I can talk. What do you want me
Very
to do?
descriptive. No, I could almost see your work. Couldn't quite, but almost.
Well, you could also just go down to the gallery and
And
see
see
it
it,
whenever
yeah.
you want. So how much longer is the show happening, Rachel?
I think it's like a few weeks. We'll be up for about 3 more weeks, and then we got Dirty Linen around the corner, so that's the next one. Yeah, so about 3 weeks. Yeah, most
And-
shows run about 3 weeks.
Okay. And were you happy with the opening night? Opening night was 4th of July. Some say there are other things going on that evening. I heard a rumor.
Fireworks.
I
Yeah.
heard a rumor about fireworks on 4th of July. And I also heard the fireworks, so the rumors finally were
Rumors
true.
are true, babies. Yeah.
Yeah. But were you happy with the opening?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, a pretty good turnout, I'd say.
Yeah,
Pretty
we had a
steady
decent
of
flow.
people.
Yeah. So Rachel, what goes into an opening being successful in your experience? Like what are the hell no's and the hell yeses? Like the things that have to be in place for a great opening.
I don't know, a good turnout's always good. Good lighting's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, good people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's similar to what me and Catie do when we're producing shows. So me and Catie, separately, but also together, produce shows in places that shouldn't have shows a lot of times,
Yeah.
which is part of the art of comedy, right? So we would say the same thing, right? Like putting a show up at a dog park, a dog bar, for
Yes,
example,
dog
is like
park bar.
you got to make sure that there's other things in place to make it be successful.
You guys did comedy for dogs?
She did.
I do.
Fuck, I'm so jealous.
It's going pretty well. I started
Oh.
this summer series. It's a ladies comedy show called
Wow.
For the Bitches at the dog park
That's
bar.
awesome.
And honestly, I think that the biggest key to success I found is to have a great relationship with the business owner, with the venue owner that you're working with, and figuring out how to synergize your talent into marketing, into promotional ways to draw people in. And they know their venue best, right? So they're able to help with those details to really make your work sparkle.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
Man.
a lot of similarities.
Yeah, so when we do shows in places that shouldn't have shows, I'm wondering. I'm saying that with the love of my heart, by the way. like many careers were built on doing shows in places where there shouldn't be shows.
Absolutely.
Because you have to start somewhere, and a lot of times those things catch fire in a way that's really compelling, right?
Mm-hmm.
But is that like? And I'm sorry, this is an ignorant question.
No.
But is that like putting up art in like a coffee shop? Or like a place where where people are not going there to see art.
I think there's a difference between alternative venues for curating art shows and spaces like bars and coffee houses that to me are typically like that's a really good starting level for people that are wanting to kind of like get their toes just in the water a little bit of understanding what it's like to hang art somewhere, to like hang art in a public space, to interact with a public space with your work. I think that those, because I definitely in my early days have had a number of, times I've hung in like bars and coffee houses in the first few years all over the place. So I think that's a great way to kind of like actually start to kind of learn some of the basic levels of doing something like that, presenting your work. But there's another difference where like, say when the city was shut down here during COVID 2020 and you couldn't put on any art shows and everything was boarded up out here. So we put on a virtual art show where we actually installed the pieces outdoors in different abandoned zones around the quarter and then photographed it. So I think that there's something to be said, like you were saying earlier, to where you can do really compelling situations if it's actually the right kind of alternative circumstance. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds even more similar than what I thought, really, with comedy and art, because it's like we're putting these shows up in coffee shops or dive bars or art galleries just because there's a lack of formal spaces to do it. And so you learn what works, you learn what doesn't work, you screw up a bunch of times, you have inspiring experiences. And then when you get called up, so to speak, or like a theater or an actual comedy club wants to have your stuff, just like a gallery wanting to have your stuff, it's like yeah, you've arrived. You've arrived at the next step. Maybe not arrived at like the peak, but it's the next step, right?
Leveled up.
You've
Yeah.
leveled up.
Yeah, except in the art world, at the top levels, there's these invisible hands of trust funds and money laundering that are just sort of guiding selections that aren't based anything off of art history or taste. It's based off of something completely unhinged without any kind of center to it. So I do feel that the higher levels of comedy, typically the people that are those performers, when you watch them, you're like, all right, that person clearly has a skill set that they're a top level performer and belong there. Art, it doesn't matter sometimes how good you are. A lot of it, if your brain is focused on the museums and on the really expensive spaces and the really expensive shows, you're not necessarily going to get there based off of merit or skill.
Ah, okay. Huge
That doesn't
difference.
apply to us because we're actually involved with selling art still to real people that buy paintings in a certain price point that aren't really like that. My wealthiest collectors are usually like celebrities and athletes and musicians and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's really fascinating. Rachel, what's been your weirdest experience ever at an art opening?
Hell yeah.
When I first started showing, I would show in places like tattoo shops, coffee shops, and bars like that were really dark, and I've definitely had beer flown at things.
At the work?
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah, or like people just like not caring because they're not really there for that, so they just bump into it. But
Yeah,
comes
they're
with the
like
territory.
have no concept of how much energy and effort went into
No,
making
yeah.
something.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely gets you a little bit more in the door, I guess.
Okay.
Putting yourself out there.
Yeah, that's another big difference I would say with art, with this kind of art and comedy, which is also an art. But, you know, a comic spending 5 minutes crafting the perfect joke about taking a shit and then someone throwing a beer at them while they're doing that joke is not as heartbreaking as you spending weeks of your life on a painting.
Sure.
Fair. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Catie? What's been in your time as a show producer? Have you had an experience yet that has been like really eye-opening, really enlightening in a good or bad way?
I mean, the first show that I produced about a year ago was honestly like the first time I actually publicly performed as well. And I made myself the headliner for it. So I just...
Wow. I love that.
Okay.
The show was called Unhinged, okay? And it was.
Perfect.
And it went really well. And we sold out. It turned into a standing room only situation. So,
Sick.
like, that felt like a very unhinged way to start a career. And I'll never be able to replicate that chaotic lightning in a bottle situation that I had. But that taught me how much that I didn't know. It helped me realize how much I had to learn before I could really attempt to like do something like that again. And it helped me realize like, oh, I actually like that. I was producing a lot of different types of events at the time. So this was one thing that I kind of just did on a whim. And then I realized I loved producing comedy shows. So then kind of abandoned the other pursuits and went all in.
Love that. It's
Yeah.
it's really special when someone in any art form has producer blood, and it's like, no, you actually care about crafting an experience for a bunch of people, not just doing it for yourself. And that's definitely true in the comedy world, right? In the comedy world, there's a lot of people who produce shows only because that's the only way they can get on stage. And not saying that's a bad thing, but then they start only producing shows for themselves, or they're only doing it so that they have something to trade to get booked on another show. This is all fair game in the comedy world. But I love it when people are like, no, I actually just love producing shows. I love producing content, and I don't have to be the center of it.
Yeah.
It's a really special thing.
Yeah, it's become my creative addiction outside of the studio over the last like 9-10 years. It's fun to kind of it's kind of Frankenstein-y, honestly, because you know you don't have to necessarily be the monster. You're more or less just kind of like setting the monsters alive and seeing how they interact with the village. And then when you start to sort of understand the various mechanics that go into it, like if you have a physical space, like she was saying earlier, lighting, mood, the music, everything. There's so many, you know, you really do and should consider as many aspects as possible so that you can kind of create the best experience and the best outcome possible for whatever the mood is for that particular show. Yeah. Production's awesome, man. It's total wizardry.
I love it. So, Catie, what show have you done in the past that you cannot wait to produce again?
Ooh, a dark comedy show during Halloween times. I had a lot of fun last year. I produced 2 separate shows. The first show did not go on because an audience member passed out like immediately at the start.
Hell yeah.
So I don't know if that was my best or worst show.
Instant success.
True dark comedy.
If they pee themselves or they pass out, winner.
I wasn't horrified about it. And then another venue offered to let us do another show there. And I had a lot of fun coming up with like really creative themes and not being a performer. So being able to be like the puppet master for a dark comedy show without saying the stuff myself.
Love that.
Which is really dark, I guess.
Yeah, Halloween is prime time for something like that. Gabe, what's Halloween like at Mortal Machine?
Yeah, I mean, that's, to me, and as you know too, as we all know that live here, when we hit early mid-October, it's like a switch. It's just a total paradigm shift in terms of how it is here. So the foot traffic increases. It's almost like everything comes to life and everybody all of a sudden is like joyous and happy as opposed to in a Mad Max movie, you know. And Halloween feels like it's that perfect point where we just got in the pool and we got used to the temperature, you know. And so I definitely I make sure to every year curate something that's particular for that weekend. Yeah, for sure. And Halloween's also my anniversary for moving here.
Hey.
Yeah.
You literally Halloween day?
Yeah, I decided to move here on Halloween. It'll be 10 years ago this year. I was side stage at Mastodon, loaded on mushrooms and Molly, and I thought it was the perfect decision to make.
Yeah, you're on Zillow, hallucinating on Zillow, looking for places.
No, I had a roommate that was a musician here. She's got no issues. Machia Lake, which a lot of folks around New Orleans still remember her. She's in Asheville now. It's funny because she convinced me to move here from Asheville, and now she's there. But Machia was like, "You're fucking moving here. Like you're not living in North Carolina. You don't belong in North Carolina. You belong here. Let me basically live in her place until I got off the ground." And luckily I got off the ground pretty quick. But yeah, and I think later on that night we were like shooting guns off her back porch, you know, next to the train yard and stuff. It was amazing. Yeah, great first night to decide to move here. Epic.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Incredible. Okay, Rachel, what would it take for you to move here from the? And it's a very personal question. We're having fun.
It's okay.
If you were to move here, like, what's going to be the thing? Like, what would make you actually pull the trigger and move here? Not the trigger on the gun for Gabe's backyard, whatever he was just
not
saying.
the backyard shootout type.
Yeah.
Probably a teleporter because I hate flying and being far away from my family.
Okay, so so teleportation is the only thing.
Probably.
All right, she ain't moving
5
here, y'all.
hours away from home is far enough for me.
Okay, fair
Too
enough.
far.
Family's a big thing.
Yeah, definitely. But I would love to live here, aside from all the natural disaster.
Well, we'll be showing her again next year too, so we'll do what we
Yes,
can
I
to
will
make
be
sure we
back,
keep bringing her back for sure. Yeah.
Right.
So how do you already know this? Are you
I
as
book
the
everything
curator?
a year in advance.
Gotcha. So so it's actually locked in.
Yeah, you have to because it's not just about what's happening here. I have spaces around the country that are always trying to play off my programming so they can make money easier.
Interesting. That's cool.
I mean, it sounds cool, but it's not so fun for me. It just gives me a deeper level of like thinking that I have to do with my game, you know. But when you're trying to create a perfect form to something, there's folks that curate by just watching Instagram, and there's folks that curate based off of their point of view.
Okay, heard that. Again, that's another similarity with comedy. It's like so I used to book for the comedy club in town, and the amount of emails that I would get from people that was just like that led with their Instagram follower stats or led with their TikTok following. It was always a really bad sign. It's like I loved booking people based off of what I thought the city wanted at that point in time in the calendar, or curating alongside other relevant things happening in the city, as opposed to just being like this girl with 100,000 TikTok followers wants to be here this weekend. Let's just do it. That's a big bummer to me.
Yeah, well, it's social media and the way that it interacts with visual artists has changed and mutated quite a bit over the years, but it was a really huge flood about 7 or 8 years ago. For a few years, for a lot of artists, that's how they built their initial audiences. That's how they sold a lot of their work. It's still how they sell a lot of their work. But it also affects the relationship with the galleries too, when the galleries were the sole space that would sell all this work, you know. So there's a really interesting dialogue now where everything's at in terms of being aware of how involved an artist's audience is with them through their social media. Like how much of their work are they selling directly to their collectors every year versus how much work they're giving to you, you know. So it's a totally new conversation. It's empowered the artists a lot more in some ways if they're making the right choices and using it in the correct way. But it makes things a bit more chaotic when it comes to figuring out stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
It's fine. As long as it keeps me not bored, I'm into it.
And I want to say, what I said earlier, that sounds cool. I just meant like your calendar being that organized. I didn't mean the part about other people benefiting off your hard work.
I joke, I kid. Yeah. No, I mean, I have to be, man. I mean, because we're a small team and we're going up against programs that are, you know, we're able at this point to be in the same conversations with spaces that have been around for like 15, 20 plus years. And we've only existed for 5 or 6, and we're not we're not funded, do not have the road the road experience that they do. We don't have the size of, we're not advertising in the magazines. I don't advertise in the magazines, things like that. So I think that it's important for me to have to think that way, so that our program not only is reaching a space of constant sustainability for everybody that's involved, but also that we can grow. Yeah. So they say in Miami when we go down there and we're at the fairs, it's like I'm not going to just say on the podcast because I don't want to, we're going to wait a little while before we get canceled, but they more or less accuse us of being like, almost like a little terrorist faction in the art world because we use what would be we're kind of like guerrilla warfare tactics in the art world that we'll use. But then when you put us in the same art fair as like other spaces from all over that are funded by trust funds or funded by wealthy husbands and wives and are laundering money, we're going to be there and we're going to kick some ass on you, bro. Whether we're one of the top ones kicking your ass or we are the top one kicking your ass, like 2-3 of us will take on teams of 5 or 6 when we get into these art fairs, and it confuses the hell out of them. So that's why I plot ahead of time, is because I'm up against people with way more resources and bigger teams.
That sounds really intense.
It's fun.
But also, what else is fun is getting new beers. Should we flip our beers over
let's
and
go.
get
I hear
round
Vanna.
two?
My dog Vanna's like singing in the other room, so I want to go check on her.
So we're
too.
going to each try the other one now, right?
I think so. I think we should
okay,
flip them.
and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about these
the
beers from Urban South. We're hanging out, part 2, coming up right in a minute. Crossfade, fade out, time dash, whatever Steve wants to do.
Intermission.
We're back for round 2 with our second drink here at 2 drink minimum. We've all switched beers here as we open these. Catie, I'm leaning on you right now to talk about these beers because one of the first times we hung out, you told me how much of a craft beer person you are. So can you talk to us about how you feel about these Urban South beers and what's going on with you?
Absolutely. Let me try the second one real quick.
We're getting a live sip and go.
Amazing. This Houdat is a fantastic golden ale, which is probably the more friendlier type of craft beer for the more domestic or casual beer drinker. Like
Guilty.
yourself. Yes. So you might find this one a little bit of a smoother drink, whereas this Po' Boy Amber is an amber lager, which is a bit heavier, a bit stronger. That's kind of my more preferred beer. I like to feel like I've eaten an entire po' boy after I've drank one. So that's, probably the heavier carb situation. I don't know that for sure, though I should, as a diabetic, I should be calculating carbs for these drinks, and I'm sure not.
Yeah, how does that work with you being diabetic?
Wait,
'Cause
what? Are you putting your life at risk to drink this beer right now? What is going on?
Right before we came back for round 2, you were playing one of your video games on your phone.
That gives me insulin.
Yeah.
My insulin game. It's my favorite
Wow.
game to play.
Dark
I
times.
just kind of give it an estimate.
We're really getting Hunger Games now, aren't we? You got to play games for your insulin.
Truly
That's how
Hunger
dark it
Games.
is.
Yeah,
Your,
I mean, people
your
ask
reality
me-
TV show is going to be called Too Sweet for Catie. Does that work? Are we still here?
Yes. Please, someone who's watching me this, offer me a reality show. I would love to be the host of that. And it sounds like it could get quite vicious there.
So, Rachel, wait, while we're still on, I want to get back to reality TV shows with you, but while we're still here on this beer, you're more in Katie's boat here, right? Because it sounds like me and Gabe are like, what's going on with all this beer? But y'all are like, no, beer all day. Right?
I'd be in trouble.
No, but like spiritually, energetically, you're like, yes, beer is what's up.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
So how does this beer compare to beers that you had in Philly, Jersey?
I'm a fan.
Okay.
I'm a fan.
Okay. So Catie used the word friendly to describe this beer, which I thought was really clever. It really spoke to me as someone who doesn't drink beer. That made me feel good. I want another word from you. Not friendly, another word to describe this beer. You're a beer writer now.
I don't know. To me, it tastes good and it's light for me. I'm normally drawn to, when I do drink beer, I'm for some reason drawn to the high alcohol content ones. So I could have a few of these for sure.
So
trying to-
friendly or not friendly?
Yeah, definitely friendly.
Okay. So friendly is like let's hang out and do a lot of this.
Yeah.
You don't like have like a it's not like a friend like a booty call would be like a in and out type of thing, right? But
Hold
a
on,
friend.
What,
Like a
wait.
stronger.
I'm trying to come up. I'm trying to.
higher
Booty call
alcohol.
beer. I want to know about this booty call beer you're discussing right
Okay,
now.
this is my other Shark Tank pitch. Actually, is booty call beer.
Yes.
It's beer that you have once every 6 months, or when you're in a certain city.
I feel like for me that's beer in general.
No, you're talking about real beer now. I was using the metaphor. We're mixing our metaphors here.
Oopsies.
Rachel, you were talking about art openings and your work earlier. Talk to us a little bit about the process of starting a new piece of work. When we were off camera earlier, we were talking about this a little bit. But I want to hear you say it on camera.
I usually just I'm constantly like or subconsciously coming up with ideas in my head. So when I do that, I schedule a shoot with a model and I set up the lighting. I take the photos myself. I give them the direction and then I take it from there and then just let it evolve as I work on it when I find the right photo for the type of atmosphere and mood I'm going for. So.
And how long you been doing this now?
Oil painting probably since like 9th grade.
Okay, so at this
Yeah.
point, it's like you're kind of like out of your mind a little bit, right? Or a lot.
I'm constantly out of my mind.
Love that.
Yeah, very scatterbrained all the time.
Well, I meant that in a complimentary way, where it's like I'm not using all of my resources to host a show anymore because I've been doing it for so long, and there's probably a lot of similarities with the work that you do.
Yeah.
Something I was curious about, Rachel, is that each of your paintings seem to have so much, like I said, it's like a glimpse into a story. When you're painting them or when you're coming up with these ideas, are there narratives or moments of narratives in your mind that you find yourself kind of engaging with, or are you more sort of focusing upon the intent of the portraiture itself?
It's usually like a little bit of both.
Cool.
It's different all the time.
Yeah.
I don't pretend to have like a set like narrative every time. I usually let it evolve with the photo that I get and how it comes together. So
Each of them are so, at least with this series and the ones I've seen over the last like year to 2 years, you'll see certain photographers and you'll follow them for a little bit, and then all of a sudden you'll see a horror film, a couple years later that's made, and you'll be like, oh, that person clearly saw that photographer's work. And I feel like when I'm seeing your paintings, I'm like wondering, all right, now how long is it going to be before I'm watching something else and I'll see one of Rachel's paintings there. Yeah. So it really makes me imagine every time I look at them, I'm trying to kind of like, because that's the whole fun part, right, is when someone's viewing a painting and they ask you, well, what is the meaning or what is it about? And you don't tell them, it allows them that ability to the average person to try and dream up what they think that means, but the relationship of what it means to the artist when they're making is a whole other ball game, right? And your stuff has it's so evocative in terms of storytelling that I was really curious to know if you had little stories or dreams of little stories when you were painting them.
yeah, like sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But this new body work, I was kind of just thinking a lot about just like accepting new realities in life and not living in the past so much all the
Cool.
time. Not the most unique concept, but that was kind of a flowing idea I had in the back of my head with all of them. And I like to, with like the titles, I like to give each piece more of a idea of what they're about and let the viewer come up with the interpretation in their head
Totally.
to connect with it.
Okay, so your reality dating show is going to be called Masterpiece, okay? And yours is called
Too sweet.
Too Sweet for Catie. Okay, so how does your reality dating show work, Catie?
It's like way more shallow than hers will be, because mine will be an extremely superficial show where I sit down and I let different men serve me different treats, like that they've baked perhaps or thoughtfully picked out from the store, and I will decide which suitor's treat is
Like-
worth the insulin.
Is this like one segment
It's like
or
the
the
chicken
whole
shop,
season?
but with your insulin and the chicken shop date girl. But now you got candy, and you're like, wow, this is good stuff, though. Yours is a deeper level of that idea.
Katie, respectfully, I think that's a good segment. And I don't know if we could get an entire season off of men serving you snacks.
Well,
I
I would
love
like
that.
to have them justify why they've decided to serve me what and how much insulin they think it's worth. Ooh.
Okay. Ooh, there we go.
Oh, wow.
There's the twist.
Now, every good reality dating show has a ritual when it comes to the eliminations, right? Maybe your eliminations are based off of this, where it's like you bite into their snack, and if you swallow it, they stay, and if you spit it, they're eliminated. Or like they all have insulin meters. What's it called?
Insulin pumps.
Pumps,
Or,
yeah.
Or I could decide how much insulin I want to use in a meal, and they have to create a dessert based off that.
Okay, wait. Now, was this
Wow.
Top Chef or a dating show?
Wow, she's
A little bit of both, because that's what it's like to date me.
We're getting somewhere. See,
Okay,
people, that's why you
okay.
keep talking things out like this. You
It's
keep
like
going.
Top Chef and a dating show dating her.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's like the ideal way to actually get to my heart is not just through the kitchen, but by televising that kitchen and telling me why you're worth the insulin.
Yeah, the way to your heart is through a pump.
Literally.
Yeah. That's the subtitle. I can see the logo right now.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Oh, we could get sponsored by one of the major manufacturers. So
Yeah. Maybe we can
Yeah.
get somebody to make a really cool portrait of you. Someone who knows how to take beautiful pictures and then paint on oil. Someone who... Yeah, we'll figure this out another time.
She's going to look like she's possessed, though. If Rachel does, in the
I
best
am
way
likely.
possible. I mean that, yeah.
I am. I totally am, and that's the image I'm trying to portray.
No, you-
Actually,
Possessed by Wilford Brimley.
Now, you've actually been on a reality dating show, though. We talked about this in the beginning. I wanna know more about this. Do you have any horror stories from this experience?
so not from that.
Or
exact-
inspirational stories. Sorry, I don't mean to only go bad. Horror or inspirational?
So from that particular show that I was on, I found inspiration to go apply to every reality show ad I could find online. This was during the film strike a few years back, right? And I kind of had figured out what to do from being on one show. So I sold one hell of a story to all of the different applications I could find. And god damn it, I accidentally found TLC along the way. And they wanted me to be on a cruise-based love show. The working title was Love Cruise. So they were very clear about what it was. Unfortunately, I had applied myself to be part of this show along with this other person in my life that I had met on online chat rooms. Some people would call him like my sugar daddy, but he was more like a Splenda friend because it wasn't like
Splenda friend. Is that did you make that up?
I believe so. Trademark that.
Fuck,
Yeah.
you need to trademark that right now.
It's pretty good. And it's true because sometimes I would send him money too. Like he was not someone with
Oh,
money. He
wow.
is not someone with money.
It's a back and forth thing.
I mean, not like
More his-
90-10.
Okay.
Like that, not too crazy. And he would more just like send me gifts, like non-consensual gifts that I wouldn't ask for. Like he would just send me things.
That's
like
not a sugar daddy.
he sent me a Nintendo Switch once, which was fine.
Oh
but
no, that's a sugar daddy.
But it showed up to my parents' house in a box with his name on it and a label that said like warning, battery inside might explode. And so
And your parents were upset.
and I was out of town. And this was like right around the time Hurricane Ida was like actively hitting. So
Splenda
yeah.
daddies are messy.
Splenda friend.
Splenda friends are messy.
Yeah, and so I applied us to be on a reality show. The concept was
Why did they not take you both? Is my question.
No, they did. Yeah, so this is here we go. I applied to this love cruise show, and they were going to introduce us for the first times on camera on the boat on a 10-day luxury cruise. And so I don't know why I applied, because obviously we were going to get it. Like, the story's great. And so then they started interviewing, like, two of my friends. They interviewed his sister and brother-in-law. They put together this whole pitch. we were offered the show. We were offered a lot of money. They told us that the name was actually going to be Set Sail for Love. They said we were the lead characters on it.
Incredible.
And so the money was really, it was too good to be true, which is kind of what like made me think, TLC. Oh, they were also going to stream it with another major network that I won't name because I would still love to work with them. So I applied for what I thought would be like one episode. They offered me a 12-episode order first season with possibility for a season 2 pickup. And I'm like, I put myself into this situation. I got to see it through.
Is this a real thing you're telling us about right now?
It really is. I have like the text messages to prove it. They still email him, inviting him to be on 90 Day Fiancé.
Wow.
Wait, I gotta say, I have no idea how this story is gonna end because as
so
far as
into
I'm
this, bro.
concerned,
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned, it's like you should have been on this show.
Duh.
Like it sounds.
It was HBO. It was HBO and TLC offered me a 12-episode order for season 1 with potential of a season 2 pickup, and then they offered 2 of my friends and 2 of his family members money too. So the money was like,
Damn, girl.
we were almost hitting like 6 figures.
Y'all about to be like Duck
with money.
Dynasty up in here.
And so that was the demon I wrestled with for like a month because I accepted. I said, hell yeah. Well, okay. I blew off the producer for like 3 days after she first called me to offer it because I was like, you're fucking kidding me. I applied to so many different shows. Of course, this one with Splenda Friend is the one I get offered. They're going to offer me like, they offered me like $12,000 for 10 days of filming. It was a lot of money for someone that was out of work at the time.
So
and also in
why
general.
didn't you do
What
it?
happened?
What happened?
I thought about it for a lot of time, and Splenda Friend got in his head that perhaps it would be funny if he said he would like propose to me
Of course.
on the boat. And so then he told TLC and HBO that. So then they started talking to him about like a budget for a ring and all that. And then at the same time, I had been very cryptic with my family about what was going on because they didn't know about Splenda Friend. Sorry, Mom and Dad. This is how
Wait,
they're
hold on.
finding
Are they
out.
discovering from this episode if they're watching all this information?
Luckily, they will not watch this, but someone will probably send them this clip. I'm sure they've suspected.
I don't
but
have to pay you for this, do I?
I thought you were. Nah, I'm just kidding.
We're paying you in a Nintendo Switch that might blow up.
They're paying
Yeah.
me in
Might
this
blow up.
fantastic
But I'm mailing it to your
urban
parents'
South
house.
beers. Yes, yes.
Okay, so
Which
you-
is where I live.
So the storyline was going to be you're getting proposed to on this cruise, and you didn't want that to happen, so you pulled out.
So the storyline even further was that my 2 friends coming with me did not believe that this man existed in the first place and thought that I was being catfished. So it was like a multi-layered mystery
Meta
thing.
plots. I'm into this.
And
Why
I-
did this not happen?
And I got to the point where I realized that if this show proceeded, there's no way I would look like anything other than the villain. There's no way I could, like... There's just no way. Especially because, like... He's a sweet man, right? My Splenda Friend, of course he is. Or I wouldn't still be, like, friends with him 6 years later.
Not too sweet, not the real kind of sweet, but he's sweet.
Exactly. Like, enough where I would apply to be on a reality show with him, but not enough that I'd actually do it, which is why I turned it down. And then the show got canceled. Because I guess they were kind of serious
like
that we were going to
respect,
be
like-
like the anchors, the anchors of the cruise show.
And are you still friends with him, or is it?
Yeah.
Okay,
we
so it
still-
actually turns out to be the kind of sugar that's in like Olipop, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like none.
It's like an aspartame.
Yeah, like
An aspartame, a main aspartame. I'm working on that one. Sorry, I'll figure it out later.
main aspartame. Okay, there's something there.
There's something
We
there.
could workshop that one. That could be good.
Rachel, did you approve of this story? Would you have done this?
No,
So wait, no, you wouldn't have done it, or no, you don't approve?
I wouldn't have done it.
Okay, so you're with her. You're in support of her.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
definitely.
Wow.
Fair enough. Gabe, how about you?
Well, she walked up to Excalibur and faced it, knowing she could pull the sword from the stone, and she walked away from it. It's incredible, man. Yeah. So much respect. Yeah.
Definitely.
It's a real hero's journey.
I immediately went into training to become a yoga instructor after I turned this down. Which is
You
then-
turned to Eastern mythology when the sword was.
Yes, and then that directly led to comedy and where I am today. So
Awesome.
that is exactly why I'm
love
sitting
that.
here right now.
So you weren't even doing comedy when this was happening.
My life was a joke.
Yeah.
But no, I was not. I had never even thought about it.
Wow, what a
Hey.
fascinating thing.
Some say your life is art.
I'll take it.
That's what I say.
Thank you.
Hey.
Yeah.
I'll definitely take that.
Gabe, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, this was a fun one.
This was a real fun one.
Yeah.
Katie, Rachel, thank y'all so much for hanging out with us
Yeah, for
on
sure.
the third episode of 2 Drink Minimum.
Yeah,
We're 2 beers in. It's a afternoon here in beautiful New Orleans,
Yeah,
and
shout
we
out
learned
to
a
Urban
lot.
South Brewery as well. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Urban South. Rachel, before we go, how can we find out more about you?
You can follow me at Rachael Bridge on Instagram. I also have a website, rachaelbridgeart.com.
Great, RachelBridgeArt.com. And Katie, what about you?
I don't have a website, but I do have a blue check mark on Instagram you can find by searching Casually Katie, Catie. That's me, so please
There we
follow
go.
me.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Gabe, congratulations, man. We're doing this thing.
This is crazy, right?
Your
Yeah.
idea is really real. Look at
We're
us
getting
go.
there. We're getting there. Yeah, yeah. And then, so if anyone, we won't have the show up in all probability. I got a feeling when this episode airs, but you can always view more work at mortalmachine.nola.com as well. And if you're ever in the French Quarter, we're at 940 Royal Street. So yeah, definitely stop on by. Mhm.
Hell yeah. And please follow 2 Drink Minimum on socials, YouTube. One way you can help us grow this show is you can just send it to a couple of friends, tell a few people about the episode. As we continue to grow this thing, we would really appreciate that. Shout out to producer Steve, who's right over there. And Gabe, let's go ahead and close this out with one final toast, huh?
Let's do it. Here's to finishing number 3, my boy. Let's keep going with this. Thank you so much, folks.
yes.
Cheers.
Hell yeah.
See y'all next time. Thanks for watching.